Navi's turn to ban.
Welcome to the Thunderfunking Dotacast. I'm Cranberry Thunderfunk, and this is Game 3 of a best of what will hopefully be 5 games between mousesports and Navi in the RaidCall D2L Season 3 Grand Finals. Taking place, I believe, in Valencia, Spain. DreamHack. There's a very big stage, lots of pretty pictures. I'm not there. I'm sitting in my home, my studio apartment. It's really glamorous. Just use your imagination, and it's basically as good. Really hoping that mousesports can show up in Game 3. Game 1 and Game 2 have not been impressive performances. In fact, they're... It's hard to say if it's all the draft. The drafts from mousesports have definitely been weaker, and they go for a Visage once more. Don't know about that. Navi has just been... They keep picking a strong mid-game lineup with good, reliable lanes, and mousesports doesn't come ahead in any of their lanes, and in fact they have been losing some of them.
10 seconds remaining.
And mousesports just has no answer for when Navi groups up at 10 to 15 minutes and starts taking all of their towers.
Reserve time.
They're under-farmed, the supports have no levels. That's been consistent between the past 2 games. Synderen has been extremely under-leveled on Nyx Assassin and Keeper of the Light, which, it doesn't matter so much for Keeper of the Light because Keeper doesn't offer a whole lot with his kit unless you want to be split-pushing. Blinding Light can be really valuable as a team fight spell, but it's not a call down, it's not a reverse polarity, it's not to put those on the same level, but something that you really look forward to in team fights and ganks. But as Nyx Assassin, it's definitely very important. Vendetta, pretty crucial for finding kills, and mousesports has not been finding kills. Game 2 was 22-1 in a 27-minute game, which you don't see that very often in professional games. There are plenty of games that are stomps that are very one-sided, but to be so completely out of control, it's not particularly it's not a frequent occurrence. I think the last time we saw something of that scale was the final game of DreamHack Summer between Quantic Gaming and Alliance, where Alliance 22-0'd them, completely shut them out. So Navi's basically doing the same thing to mousesports here, which, in terms of how the teams are ranked, I guess it kind of makes sense because Navi and Alliance are generally considered they're the top 2 Western teams, if potentially in the world, but definitely in the West they're the top 2 Western teams. And mousesports, they had to qualify into the international through the international qualifiers. Same kind of deal for Quantic. They're not tier 2, but there's evidence to suggest that they're maybe not quite tier 1.
10 seconds remaining.
Just based on how they're holding up against the best of the best.
Remaining.
Looking at the draft here, mousesports wisely bans the Alchemists for the first time.
Navi's turn to pick.
I think they have accepted that they cannot challenge hvost Alchemist in lane, perhaps because they just don't want to run the aggressive tri-lane. It's fairly common for mousesports to do the defensive tri-lane. They don't seem comfortable going aggressive very often, which I think is probably their biggest weakness and is why Navi keeps getting away with their lineup. They can just stick hvost into the safe lane, knowing that he can free farm endlessly,
remaining.
and then use their
5 seconds
get more out of their supports in other lanes, or more experience in the jungle.
Reserve time.
Because that also seems to be a consistent theme between these past 2 games. It's just that the supports on Navi are getting more levels, more experience, and more items for relatively the same space to farm and presence on the map. It's been the first 10 minutes where the supports are underleveled, and that doesn't really make sense because it's like there's been no ganks, there's been no kills. Why don't you have more experience? So that's another problem that mousesports has had. Navi, they pick up the Darkseer Jakiro. Really solid combo with the vacuum into Ice Path, especially with those updated Darkseer icons. It's a really big buff to that hero. They are nice icons, but no, the vacuum into Ice Path is just super good. It's a form of initiation, especially if you get a Blink Dagger on Darkseer, which haven't seen that as much. It was like it had like a brief burst of popularity where just like everybody was getting it for like a week, and then everybody stopped getting it for no clear reason because it was super effective. Could just be a little bit of a selection bias. I don't see every game, so. Nevertheless, if they do get the Blink Dagger on Darkseer, it's a really easy, nice large initiation and stun, and it sets up like the AOE on Navi is really nice right now. They've got Macropyre, Dual Breath, Call Down, Flat Cannon, Ion Shell. They've got a whole kit and caboodle of ways to blow through mousesports in a team fight, and they've still got 2 picks left. They have a lot of options.
10 seconds remaining.
Mousesports, they go for what I think they're hoping is their best bet. It's the Black Anti-Mage.
Reserve time.
Black plays a good Anti-Mage. He always finds the farm, and he's pulled off some pretty amazing comebacks on Anti-Mage. However, this is kind of it's already starting to reek of 4 Protect 1, and 4 Protect 1 does not work versus Navi at all. They're too aggressive, they take out all the towers, they remove your ability to guarantee farm for your carry. And Crystal Maiden and Visage, Visage less so, but definitely Crystal Maiden. Crystal Maiden's a risky support, especially if you're going for this 4 Protect 1. In my mind, I tend to believe that teams are not properly utilizing Crystal Maiden's aura. I think if you're going to pick Crystal Maiden, you should be getting things, getting heroes that are going to be spamming mana use abilities to help control their lanes. Anti-Mage is not one of those, and Visage is really not one of those either. You don't spam Grave Chill, and you just save your mana for Soul Assumption. You pop it at the right time, and you don't need to have you always have mana for Soul Assumption. You just need to have it for one instance, and then you go get some clarities or back to the well or whatever. You don't need the aura to have great impact from Visage. But we'll see what the next 2 picks from mousesports are. Navi goes for Doom, which they've done this a couple times now.
10 seconds remaining.
I think they did it versus LGD in the Alienware Cup finals.
5 seconds remaining.
And they made it work, and they made it do a lot of work.
Reserve time.
Actually, I believe they lost the game they did that versus LGD, so that's a little bit of a misnomer right off the bat. However, it was really effective, and I don't think it was the Doom pick that threw them off. It was other factors about that game. It's going to be kuroky on the Doom. He's going to be jungling. And he might not have a lot of involvement early on, but as soon as he hits 6, and he'll hit 6 relatively quickly, Doom is a great jungler. Doom is super powerful, and it's really good for killing Anti-Mage. Doom is, in fact, just a fantastic pick versus Anti-Mage because it disables the mana break,
10 seconds.
disables the blink, no mana void. You just completely shut him down, and even if you don't kill him,
5
if you deal enough
remaining.
damage, sending him back to base,
Turn to
getting him to waste money on TPs, stuff like that, it's a great zoning tool, and making sure that he doesn't have an impact in a fight. Especially, I mean, it carries over into the late game as well. You can't get a Lincoln Sphere on Anti-Mage. It's just not a good idea. So there's no solution for Anti-Mage in dealing with Doom. He'll probably have to get a BKB, especially with all this AoE. But stopping the damage is not enough. mousesports goes for a Beastmaster, which there's an OD still in the pool. I don't know if Navi will go for it, but in fact, there's a lot of strong solo mids still in the pool for Navi. It could be an offlane Beastmaster. I tend to doubt it
5 seconds
because of how fantastic the lanes are for Navi right now. Gyrocopter and Jakiro alone can zone Beastmaster out.
Mousesports turn to
And Navi goes for the Storm Spirit, which there's a Dendi hero if there ever was one. Huge skill ceiling, tons of initiation power, can be all over the place, and it's the sort of hero that Dendi can just outplay his opponents on all day and all night. And I think it really rounds out their lineup quite nicely. It's something of a greedy lineup. They've got Gyro, Doomstorm, and Darkseer that all need items. But I think they have the ability to find those items. Darkseer in the off lane,
5 seconds remaining.
he's gonna find the farm he needs. Doom in the jungle, guaranteed.
Reserve time.
And Dendi in mid, he's not that scared of Beastmaster. The stun is good for getting on top of Storm Spirit, but look at what the stuns are for mousesports right now. Crystal Maiden kind of depends on you lay down the Crystal Nova, and that gives you time to get in range for freeze. That's about as good as Crystal Maiden gets for lockdown, but that doesn't work versus Storm Spirit. He can zip away. No troubles. So I think they're going to have a hard time locking Storm Spirit down, and I mean really that's true for a lot of the heroes on Navi. I mean, Doom is going to be tanky. Mousesports is definitely reliant on their magic damage earlier on in the game here, and that's great for Doom. He's got high HP. The low armor just doesn't matter to him that much, because there's just not that much physical damage, at least until Visage hits 6 and Beastmaster's axes are maxed. Mousesports rounds it out with a Sand King. Is this an aggressive tri-lane? It has to be. Yeah, it must be, but I am questioning it. Huh. Sorry, I'm just thinking about this because I was not expecting a Sand King pick here. It could theoretically be an off-lane Sand King. It's a bad idea. I hope they don't do it. I hope that they laugh in the face of such a notion. We'll see. A very odd aggressive tri-lane, and one that I'm not sure is going to work out. Could also be dual lanes. I'll run through the lineups here as we get into Game 3 of the Grand Finals of the RaidCall D2L Season 3. So mousesports is going to be on Radiant this time. qojqva headed up to the top lane on Sand King. Synderen, he'll be playing Crystal Maiden. Pas will be playing Visage once more. Fata on Beastmaster, and Black on his signature anti-mage. We'll see how he does. On Navi, for the Dire side, we've got hvost playing Gyrocopter. That's hvost 4. It's a reference to Beyond the Summit Hexagons, where they rated various team strengths during the Alienware Cup, and they rated Navi's carry as being a 4. So after seeing that, he has labeled himself a 4, which, as it happens, they won that tournament. So he's probably not a 4. That's the joke, not JPEG. Kuroky, he's going to be on Doom, hanging out in the jungle with all those creeps. Puppey's going to be on Jakiro. It's not his favorite hero in my mind. Maybe he really likes it. I don't know. I haven't talked to Puppey. But it just doesn't strike me as the sort of hero that Puppey wants to be on. This is the third time now that they've had to request that they turn off the lights, which I think is pretty amusing. Dendi will be on Storm Spirit, headed middle, and Funnik will be on Darkseer in that bottom lane. And Funnik has one of the ugliest skins I think I've seen for Darkseer, in my humble opinion. So with that aggressive tri-lane, this is actually a pretty favorable lineup for mousesports. Darkseer versus anti-mage. It favors anti-mage because of the mana burn. Darkseer really depends on continual spamming of his Ion Shell, and particularly early on, the first few levels, he needs to have all the mana he can get to cast Ion Shell and his Surge. He is going to be doing some creep skipping, which I think is a great idea, particularly because there's no Quelling Blade on black. He should still be able to get the last hits that he needs, but he's going to be missing them, and you can see it right there. Lasting under the tower is just not that easy. So it's going to be pretty close here in this bottom lane. In mid, I expect a significant advantage towards Dendi. Fata will do okay with some bottle crowing, but I think he's going to fall behind as time goes on, particularly just because of how much lane control Dendi's going to have. By being able to draw these static remnants, every time that Fata wants to go in, he's going to eat some harass. And one of the advantages of Beastmaster is his high base armor, which Storm Spirit not concerned about. So I expect this lane to go in favor of Dendi. The biggest question for this game is this aggressive tri-lane. Now, the reason I have been so questioning of this aggressive tri-lane is just
Radiant's bottom
Crystal Maiden in an aggressive tri-lane is really risky. It's going to be probably 1 or 2 more creep waves before she hits level 2. That's going to be 2.5 minutes into the game, and that's all time that mousesports is not benefiting from Crystal Maiden's aura. Crystal Maiden really needs reliable experience early on in the game, and there's no, unless they get kills, there's no source of early damage here. Particularly, I mean, with the Rocket Barrage, it's so dangerous for any of mousesports to go in here. Now, hvost is taking a lot of damage. The Soul Assumption gets used late, but Paz still manages to pick up the kill. Puppey gets trapped inside the trees here. He wants to eat his way out, but he's not going to be able to. Nice burrow strike by qojqva. A double kill for mousesports. Up in the top lane. Overextension by Navi. No reason to be that far out. hvost just wanting to use his Rocket Barrage and not properly accounting for how much damage that mousesports does deal. So, fortunate for mousesports. Don't like this choice by Synderen to skip the mana aura. I mean, look, they're popping 3 clarities here. You know how much mana? This is 3.3 mana per second. You could just be giving 1 mana per second all the time. All the time. Sorry, I'm not gonna beat that horse too dead for too long, but it really bothers me that the teams do this. Down in bottom lane, it's neck and neck, 16-2 versus 17-0 on funnik, and it's gonna stay that way for the time being. Funnik should have his soul ring relatively soon, and that will help him out quite a lot, because mana regen is his big issue up against an anti-mage. Fortunate thing for mousesports here up in this aggressive tri-lane is they've managed to get a handful of creep kills from this side camp. And they've definitely scared Navi out of the lane a little bit. hvost is sitting at 7-2 right now, and Puppey, he's got no last hits. And there's no pulls either. They've successfully warded this all off, made sure that there's no free experience for Navi in this tri-lane. Now, there's a haste rune on Dendi. He's got 3 in Electric Vortex, is a 2-second stun. Can he get the damage necessary? Oh, the Ice Path lands on Synderen. They're racking up the damage. The flat cannon's used. A nice gank from Dendi, and mousesports was trying to get out in time,
Dire's middle tower
but they also didn't have any vision. I kind of would have liked to see... Oh, okay. I thought I missed a kill. I mean, this is an okay ward. Nothing necessarily wrong with it, but having a ward here, I think, is a little more useful simply because you can keep track of exactly where Navi is. And you still see the pull, too. Navi did successfully de-ward this, so they've got the pull going now, and that's going to bring this tri-lane back into working order for Navi. And every second that mousesports is not getting kills, I mean, Synderen's still level 2. Really close to level 3. He's actually 1 experience point away. I mean, that's 1 deny. It's amazing how much just one right click can make a difference in a game. But yeah, I feel like that mana aura would be so useful for Fata mid. But I'll leave it be. funnik actually opting to go for boots before the soul ring, which I guess is reasonable with the high base movement speed on on anti-mage. That's what allows him to stay on top of his target and get the continual mana breaks off. So in some respects, there is a level of mana regen that these boots provide by avoiding mana break. There's a regen rune bottled on Fata. Puppey's hovering around here. He's going to pop the Vortex. Puppey shows up with the Ice Path. Do they have the burst damage necessary? Dendi does not have any more mana. Fata's just going to immediately TP out. Smart play. I really like that. I would not have certainly thought to do that. There is a possibility that he could have walked away, but he probably would have needed to back anyways. So it's not that costly, and I think he didn't want to use that regen rune solely for the purpose of trying to survive as they chased him down, because they very well may have been able to do it. Ice Path is very long range. There's a Burrow Strike on hvost, but there's no follow-up right now. Would have liked to see hvost pop the Rocket Barrage right there. No reason not to. Punish qojqva every time he tries to do that. So with these side pulls, mousesports continues to contest in this this tri-lane.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But hvost is actually pretty far behind in farm at this point. 14-2. He's a long ways off of whatever item he's looking to go for, and it does seem to be the Aquila. I imagine he'll get drums after that. Go for a more mid-game build, safer, decent survivability and auras, so that Navi has the presence in the mid-game that they want. Then he's hanging out up top, using the static remnant for vision through the trees here, because that does provide flying vision. But it's only Puppey up here. hvost is nowhere nearby. And kuroky, oh, there's an initiation diving under the tower onto Puppey. This could be a little dangerous. This is a tanky support here in Jakiro. Dual Breath lands on 2. Roar onto Dendi. Do they have the stuns? He still gets hit by the Soul Assumption too. He's going to go down. A little bit of a misplay there from Dendi. If he had blinked backwards, he would have impacted the projectile from Soul Assumption, would not have taken that damage, and probably could have zipped back in and finished off Synderen. So a slight misplay there from Dendi. Good dive from mousesports. I thought it was a little bit risky because they were going on to Jakiro, who he's got 600 some odd HP, 700 actually, with no stat boosting items, which is one of the reasons that teams like to pick up Jakiro as a support. It's nice and tanky. Oh, qojqva, he drops really low. Is there more damage available? Yes, there is. Dendi, he zips in, finishes off qojqva, and he's actually the farming component of this tri-lane. So killing him is it's not a game changer, but it's definitely the most valuable kill that they could take out of this tri-lane. Down in bottom, it's still neck and neck. This is pretty sounds like pretty cool to see. Usually it goes one way or the other in the anti-mage versus darkseer matchup. So the illusion rune is such a problem. Actually, funnik, he's completely out of mana. He's got to be able to bottle up and try and get his way out of here, but I don't think he's going to. The mana void is going to finish him off, no problem. Nice kill for black. Good rotation from Synderen. Getting some much needed experience on him. Still no fucking points in Arcane Aura. Why? And he skips it again. What an asshole. Meanwhile, I miss a kill up top. I hate this build. I'll leave it at that. Great kill for black. Oh my god. kuroky goes down. And I don't know why. Didn't even use the roar. Oh, I see what happened. kuroky was dropping kind of low. He was jungling right here. He was spotted by the ward. And Fata just finishes him off with the wild axes. So, that's unfortunate for kuroky. The power of wards.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Kind of an odd game so far, and it's in mousesports' favor right now. 8-2, 9 minutes into the game. 1,500 gold, about 3,000 experience. That's mostly reflected in the kills. No towers down yet. Neither team really has much in the way of early pushing power. Later on, that might change. But there's a Smoke of Deceit up on Dendi and kuroky. Who are they looking to find? If they find black, do they have the Doom up? Oh, there's a zip in onto Fata. Can they take him down before he uses the roar? He's dropping really low. Yep, he goes down, no problem. Synderen gets doomed. 2 easy kills going the way of Navi. They can dive straight past the tower, and there's nothing that mousesports can do about this. It's a good initiation from Dendi, and the smoke really paying off there. Getting everybody in on the action, and I think... I don't know how necessary it is for hvost to be here. Like, this is time that he could be farming up top, catching up on how far behind he is, because he is quite far behind at this point. He's doing worse than the Sand King in that aggressive trial lane.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
But with the mid-tier 1 down, that's actually pretty great for Navi. Opens up a lot of map space. Makes it a lot harder for particularly Beastmaster. That's who it's most relevant for. He can blink to the mid-tier 1 and get to any number of fights across the map much faster. And I mean, that distance lost is pretty much across the board. Big loss of positioning power. Oh, there's a blink in from Black. Fata wants to use this roar. He's able to land it on hvost. hvost is taking a lot of damage. Finished off with the mana void from Black. Puppey, he finishes his TP in. He's hoping for support here, but there's no one nearby. He is actually able to chase off Black. I'm willing to bet if he dropped the macro pyro there, he might have actually gotten Black really low. I don't know why there wasn't more TP support from Navi. I think perhaps kuroky didn't feel it was worthwhile since he didn't have Doom. They may have also just thought that, oh, Puppey's going to go down. I really think that mouz could have just turned around and killed Puppey, but perhaps they knew that in that circumstance that Navi would have TP'd in. It's a lot of ifs and counter ifs in this circumstance. Well, we finally have ourselves a game. After 2 stomps, mousesports shows up to play, although there's a smoke up on 4 here. They really want to kill Black. The question is, oh, Doom is up. Doom's going to land. Yep, no chance for Black. He gets vortexed. There's the chain stun is no chance for him to make it out of this. And Synderen, in fact, he's got to be careful too. Dendi's closing in, but he doesn't have the mana anymore. No bottle. No way to continue that chase, which is okay. hvost, he's sitting middle. He's going to stop this push from Fata, or at least be there to try and get the deny. Uses the fortify. We'll see if he can get it. So trading towers at the moment, which... Oh, nice roar from Fata, securing the tower kill, guaranteeing that it doesn't get denied. And meanwhile, since the fortify has already been used, Paz is able to pick up the top tier 1. So this is a favorable trade for mousesports, definitely. They take the mid tier 1 as well as a side lane. Meanwhile, Navi only gets the bottom tier 1. Though you kind of have to count Black's death in there as a part of that. So in light of that, it's probably maybe even favors Navi. Not overwhelmingly slow, but killing Anti-Mage before he gets his Battle Fury is the most crucial time. It really has a big snowball effect on how much farm the Anti-Mage is able to get. mousesports is positioned very aggressively here without a lot of ward coverage in the enemy jungle. I think maybe because they know that Navi's in their jungle right now, so they're not too worried about not having direct vision of them. Actually, there's a stun on the hvost. He's going to drop the call down, but gets finished off with the soul assumption from Paz. Actually, Creep gets the last hit, but that's what dealt the killing damage was really the soul assumption. So a surprise there. I was really thought that mousesports was out of position. Blinking from qojqva. He's got his blink dagger already. I should have noticed that roar onto Dendi. Whirling axes. Is he going to go down? Yes, he is. So qojqva picks up a pair of kills there. Really nice baiting here. That's really what this is. I think Navi probably think the same as I am, that, oh, there's no reason for mousesports to be up here. They can't deal the damage necessary. But, oh, there's another blink in from qojqva, but he misses the burrow strike this time, which is going to make it possible for... Oh, there's a nice vacuum into the wall. Paz is dropping rather low, but there's not a lot of mana left on funnik. He uses the surge, but he can't tank all this damage. The Visage Familiars are dealing too much. The Whirling Axes and Soul Assumption are ever-present threat here. So Navi not able to find any return kills. And good resummon there from Paz. That's The sign of a good Visage player, recognizing that you're not going to be able to get your familiars out safely. You might as well just resummon and make sure that you're not feeding 200 gold to the enemy team. So really, really good pair of fights there for mousesports. Buying time for Black to farm. He's picked up his Battle Fury. He will now start farming out of control, and there's not a lot that Navi is going to be able to do about it. They'll have to continue pulling off these smoke ganks or catching him off guard with a Storm Spirit Vortex. The trouble is just if they initiate with Dendi, the follow-up is the problem. That's 2.5 seconds for Navi to get in position and follow up with primarily the Doom. The Doom is the most important stun to get on Black to make sure that he can't get away. Black will be priority target for Doom for this entire game. There's no one else that deserves it as much as he does. They might use it on Beastmaster just to stop a roar if it hasn't been used yet. So there's a smoke up onto 4 here. Navi, they want to find another kill. But Fata wisely stepping back. Good game sense. Recognizes it's not safe to be that far out. There's no sentries here for mousesports, so they aren't aware of the positioning of Navi right now. They do know they're off the map. And familiars may have, it's daytime, so they see them no problem. But Fata, he's actually stepped out way too far. Oh no, the call down gets dropped, pops the mechanism. Is he going to be able to make it out of this? But great blink in from qojqva with the epicenter. He's dropping really low though. Uses the sandstorm in the macro pyre. Soul Assumption finishes off funnik. Pos is going to go down too though. Dendi picks up the kill there.
I'm over here.
Wow. So what looked to be a really good fight for mousesports, especially with the awesome initiation from qojqva. Oh, Black, he wanted to get the... Oh, if he'd gotten that off, it was so close. He was just milliseconds away from getting his Mana Void off. And instead, they end up feeding 2 more kills to Navi. Now, Navi was probably going to pick up the Crystal Maiden regardless, but Black didn't have to blink in there. And in particular, he didn't need to be that close. The Ice Path was meant for Crystal Maiden, not for Black. And he just kind of walked into it. If he had landed that Mana Void, he may have picked up multiple kills there, because that was a completely empty, zero mana Dendi. He's got 800 mana. That's a level 2 Mana Void. You're looking at, that's 0.5. Yeah, that's on the order of 650 damage. That's a lot. So really unfortunate for mousesports, especially because Gyrocopter, he lived there, Dendi lived there. I think hard keeping track of all this kills. It was a very chaotic fight at the beginning. What is that Ring of Regen gonna be? Is that a Vlad's? It must be a Vlad's. Oh, Synderen. He's gonna get blown apart by Dendi. And this is the part of the game where Synderen gets really sad. There's nothing that a Crystal Maiden can do versus initiation like this, especially from a Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit just completely... Wow! Kuroky actually goes down, and qojqva is playing so aggressive. This is actually really cool to see. He is in a little bit of danger here, though. He's waiting for support from his team. Is he going to be able to get away? hvost has shown up. It's a scary engagement from mousesports. They really don't want to be giving up any kills here, and honestly, they should just be letting Black farm. With the Ring of Regen pickup, it looks to be a Vlad's pickup on Anti-Mage, which... it's decent. Definitely, that's in terms of items you can pick up for the lowest amount of gold. That's about as effective as it gets. Provides a lot of sustainability. But there's a pretty decent amount of burst damage on Navi, which is my big concern. Particularly because of the build that he was forced to go with, laning versus Darkseer. Getting 3 points in Mana Break, maxing out Blink, multiple points in Spell Shield. The ideal for Anti-Mage is to be able to level up stats. I guess I shouldn't say that's the ideal. It's very situational. There are some games where it's much more preferable if you want to have early game aggression to max out Mana Break. But as a result of not getting any stats, he's pretty easy to take down. He's only got 1,000 HP, and that's if he's on Strength Treads. So Navi can pretty easily burst through that, no trouble. Got a lot of moderate nukes in their favor. But Black is up top. He's going to try and find a trade here. Oh, there's a bad epicenter from qojqva. Not actually able to find anybody, though he is actually able to get hvost, so I have to eat my words there. But qojqva and Pos immediately go down, as well as synderen, so it's a 1-for-3 trade. There's an immediate doom onto Black, so he's not going to have any relevance in this fight. Fata, he's got a haste rune, so he can jump in and out of this fight, no problem, but it looks like the bottom tier 1, or tier 2, is going to go down. There's a roar used onto funnik. Funnik dropping really low. He is going to go down before he can use that mech. So finding some trades here for mousesports, and with all these cooldowns lost. Oh, there's the vortex onto Black. Here's the lack of HP coming into play. He blinks out. Dendi, he's able to chase him down. Black's extreme lack of HP. Nice freezing field from synderen. Doesn't matter, but it was nice. I think that favors Navi overall. It was a scrappy fight for mousesports. They managed to take out hvost relatively early. I thought that because he went down so fast, I thought that there was a wasted epicenter, but in fact, epicenter solely used on Black to take him out of the fight, which pretty crucial. He didn't have his BKB, but now he does, and that means for a future fight, that's not going to happen again. You might get some of that damage off, but you're not going to be able to do the whole kit and caboodle as they did there, and I really think that's a problem for mousesports. Until Black has a lot more items, with this, again, what appears to be a Vlad's Rush, not guaranteed. What else it would be? He's not going to pick up a Force Staff. Or a Hood, for that matter. Yeah, without some major damage items on Black, he's just not going to be a threat to Gyrocopter anytime in the near future. Taking a look at the gold and experience graphs. Gold is actually quite even, as is experience. So, despite how these fights have felt, it's still a pretty even game. I do feel like if the current trend continues, it favors Navi, just because they can't rely solely on Black to outcarry all of this. There's a Doombringer, there's a Storm Spirit, a Gyrocopter, and Darkseer. Very effective versus Anti-Mage. Especially if funnik is able to pick up an Aghanims. Really, really well-scaling team from Navi. Oh, there's a Doom onto Black. Do they have the damage necessary to take him down? Wow, look at the chain stun here. The War Stomp used by kuroky to keep him inside that Macro Pyre. Great use. Wow, well, meanwhile, down at bottom, mousesports finds 2 kills, 2 valuable ones at that, Storm Spirit and Darkseer. So, kind of an even trade, especially if mousesports is able to get this tower down. I'm starting to feel that, as bad as it is for Black to go down, there's a lot of... Oh, the call down gets used on qojqva. It does hit. Are they going to be able to finish him off? He burst strikes into the trees, does not get finished off. No kills found here for Navi, but they are managing to trade the tower. Pos continues to push down at bottom. I don't know that he's going to be able to stay for much longer, especially with the TP in from kuroky. I really don't think he wants to stay in here. Yeah. Wow. So, much more exciting game, much closer game than we've seen in the past. Oh, I love this by Navi. You can see funnik is about to use his Arcane Boots. Kuroky drops his Arcane Boots to make sure that he's getting the maximum amount of mana from that. Not all teams do that, and it's just good communication and just good maximization of stats. You want everything you can to make sure that you don't have to go back to the base. Looking at the items here, Shadowblade is picked up on kuroky. Going to be really nice for him to sneak up on Black or any other target they want to go for. Aghanims is coming up on qojqva. Interesting pickup for Sand King, especially when I really favor the Veil of Discord as the first pickup for Sand King looking to maximize his ultimate. Now they're a little bit different in some respects in that the Aghanims increases the length of the epicenter, so it makes it more likely that you're going to be able to land it properly. If you get stunned during the middle of it, there's just a better chance that you're going to be able to get more damage out. And plus, it's good stats for a Sand King. And he actually finishes it already, so he's looking really nice. That's going to be a very powerful ultimate initiation for mousesports. It's going to come down to qojqva a lot in these fights. If he can continue landing great burrow strikes and epicenters, then mousesports is still in this game. That said, there's got to be a pipe around the corner somewhere for Navi. I don't see it coming up on Darkseer. It looks like they may just opt for BKBs, which is a fair choice. That kind of seems to be a general trend recently, is that teams will opt for mass BKBs over a pipe. Not universally. Pipe is not completely out of the game by any means. Just
bottom tower is under attack.
if you want to make sure that everybody's being completely active, and you don't want a situational way of dealing with high magic damage, everybody gets their own BKB. Everybody gets their own parachute. And there is a blink dagger up on funnik. I don't know how long he's had that. A little late on checking out the items here. So his initiation is really nice, and especially once he gets that BKB, the jump-ins from Navi are going to be really strong. And that's... I was talking earlier about dendi. You know, if he finds a pick-off, he finds someone that he can zip into, then he needs to be able to have follow-up from the rest of his team, and the blink dagger and funnik is exactly what Navi needs for that. Shadow Blade 2 on kuroky fulfills something of the same purpose. Kuroky can scout out a target, dendi can zip in, and the follow-up from funnik, or vice versa. Funnik can jump in. Either way, it's going to be pretty brutal for Navi if they're able to find the pickoffs. It's going to depend on the positioning for mouz. And actually, there's a roar onto hvost here in the jungle. I don't see him escaping this by any means, because Aghanim's been picked up by a pod, so he's got the 3 familiars, and that's a lot of auto attack damage. It's easy to underestimate exactly how much damage those familiars do, but it's, I believe in technical terms, a metric fuck ton.
Dire's middle tower,
especially at 27 minutes into the game. There's a lot of farm supports here.
Dire's
I have to say, and I gotta get off the last hits here. Pretty much everybody's actually got some farm, that's not the most common thing to see. Especially when there's no bounty hunter in the game. Bounty hunter's the sort of hero that he can get supports really farmed just through the track gold. And there's no such gold steroids on either team. So it's interesting to see that pretty much everybody, with the exception of Synderen, but even this Crystal Maiden is doing pretty decently. Treads, Wand, and Urn. That's not bad for Crystal Maiden. I mean, seen more than one Crystal Maiden make it this far without boots. So for that to be the worst case scenario on either team says good things. There's actually a blink dagger up on Fata as well. 1,300 gold. The initiation for mouz is probably on par with Navi. Both teams are really looking to find somebody that's out of position. Neither team really has the wards necessary to do it, and it just seems like they're both so wary. hvost doesn't want to die, and Black doesn't want to die. Black does manage to finish his Manta style, so his first chunk of survivability. I still don't know what he was doing with that Ring of Regeneration. It's gone now. Kind of glad to see that. I don't know that Flaz really would have been the option here, especially when you got a Beastmaster who could opt for that. Navi's going to start Roche here, and mouz is up top. They're looking to make a trade here. I assume they have to know that Navi's doing Roche here, especially with the unchallenged tier 3. Then again, I don't know. I feel like they would want to take that fight. They were perhaps hoping that they could... Oh, there's a blink in from dendi. He's got a sheep stick now. Uses it on Fata. Oh, but nice counter initiation from qojqva. The epicenter gets used on dendi, and he goes straight down. Really nice positioning from qojqva. Ready to jump around the corner. And I don't know what qojqva was doing there. I don't think he expected to be gone in on. Eats the ice path. The doom is there all along. I don't think that qojqva had to die there. Just a little bit too overconfident. Oh, actually, Black, he finds a solo engagement up on hvost, takes the ages off of hvost. Great play from Black. it's totally worth it to use that mana void solely for that purpose. That's fantastic. It's really just eliminates the advantage that Navi just took from Roche. mousesports, they pick up a much needed kill on Dendi. They get a little bit of damage up onto the tier 3. They remove the Aegis, and they only give up qojqva for it. That's, I mean, at this point, Sand King dying, it's not great, especially when he's so high impact with that items. But he's got the items that he needs, and it's not like his impact in the game is going to be lessened because of a death. So, Fata's sitting on 4,400 gold here. I really don't think he should be sitting on this much gold. I do think both teams are going to be trying to save for buyback as much as possible, because one bad team fight either way could mean a set of racks for either team. I think the game continues to be quite even, yeah. I mean, not even 2,000 gold in favor of Navi. 5,000 experience, 31 minutes into the game, not that significant. Especially when there's just a lot of levels on these teams as well. There's really nobody that's suffering for experience. I mean, this is a level 14 Jakiro when you have a 16 Gyrocopter, which says a little bit more about hvost than it does about puppey. But there's, I mean, the lowest level on anybody is Crystal Maiden, and that's 11. So again, for the floor for effectiveness in this game it's quite high. No, don't need less hits. Just want the net worth. BKB is coming up on Dendi, and I think that will be quite useful for him.
Top tower is under attack.
Assault Cuirass on the way for kuroky. His DPS will be increasing quite nicely in the near future. Butterfly on the way for hvost. In fact, he's going to pick that up in just a second here. I do think that's going to be very good for him. MKB is not an ideal pickup for black, so he's going to be missing a lot of his auto attacks. That said, I think more survivability is necessary on hvost. I think he's got to get more HP. He can't live through an epicenter right now. He does still have 9 seconds on his BKB, so yes, he can if he hops the BKB. But if he's chain stunned, there's no chance. Or if it gets used after the BKB, there's, I would say, a relatively low chance that qojqva will initiate onto anybody with a BKB and uses epicenter. He may go for it hoping that his team can follow up, which good potential for that with the Roar and Blink on Fata. And he's actually gone for a Necro Book. I quite like this build. It synergizes nicely with the Inner Beast on Beastmaster since they benefit from the attack speed. Gives some much needed pushing power for mousesports. That said, I would like to see some Boots of Travel. I think that Boots of Travel is very strong on Beastmaster. You can teleport to your Hawk and do some great split pushing. Not to mention just increased movement speed for better initiation. And at this point in the game, he shouldn't need the mana that much, especially with a level 3 Necronomicon. He's got a lot of extra intelligence, and his mana costs are really not that high for farming. It's only 120 for axes, 25 for his Call of the Wild. So he's not a particularly mana-hungry hero. Good for the early game, not so much for later. Now, Staff of Wizardry. This could be a Necronomicon. Could be a Yule Scepter. Could be a Force Staff. It's really hard to say what he wants to go for. I'm really hoping it's not a Force Staff, because I think that would be a mediocre pickup at best. Really having trouble divining exactly what this is going to be. Maybe Yule's? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, normally whenever I see a Staff of Wizardry, I just assume it's going to be a Force Staff, but I just don't see that making any sense for qojqva. It is decent for making sure that when you jump in with the epicenter, you can stay on top of them, particularly if there's any Force Staffs available on Navi, which I don't think they have any yet.
Dire's
Is the
top
BKB
tower is
finished on?
under
I
attack.
feel like funnik has been working on a BKB for quite a long time. Not sure where his money is going. Yes, Puppey does have a Force Staff, so that helps with
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Helps dealing with that.
Illusion.
Mouse is standing way behind here, kind of hoping that Navi will go on Fata. Actually, there's a jump in here on to pause. They're probably, yeah, they're gonna take down this Visage, no problem. Which presents an issue for that's a gem given up as well. That's not good. Now, meanwhile, mousesports does take the top tier 3, and this tower's taking a lot of damage. Black has finished his heart, so his illusions are tanky, and he's just dealing so much damage to these racks. Especially with the Necronomicon minions. That's... wow. Definitely a favorable trade. Wow, look at... this is almost going to go down just solely from the Necronomicon. A little bit of underestimation from Navi. They really didn't think that they were going to be able to deal that much damage to their structures. But they ended up losing a tier 3 and very close to losing a melee Rax for basically no reason. I don't think there was a lot of justification for Navi to wait so long. I mean, all they got was a kill on Paz. I mean, that's nice, but definitely not worth that trade. So good work from mousesports. They're applying really good pressure to Navi and making sure that they haven't seized map control at any point. They've only lost Roche once, and even then they made a pretty good trade for it, and they immediately killed the Aegis too, which that was probably more down to hvost's positioning than great plays from mousesports. But you got to be there to seize the opportunity when someone throws a little bit. You know, you got to catch it. Smoke up on Dendi. Unclear if mousesports is aware of this. Yeah, he sees the zip with his boar, immediately blinks away, so no trouble for mousesports. Not giving up any free kills this game. Very important. Keeping track of the golden experience. At this point, it's 5,000 gold in favor of mousesports. 7,500 experience. 37 minutes, it's not overwhelming advantage, but it's a decent chunk. And I think it accurately represents the status of the game right now. Navi really can't afford to make any mistakes. A big pick-off on Dendi or hvost could mean a set of racks here. That said, they do have plenty of farm. They are unlikely to go down, particularly Dendi. He's just so hard to bring from full to 0. They just don't have the chain stun necessary. It really all comes down to qojqva and catching Dendi before he picks up this BKB. Which, does he have anything on the courier? No, he's still a long ways from his BKB. Very slow BKBs on Navi. Funnik finally finishes his, so he's going to be a total pain in the ass to kill. His initiation will be quite nice. Demon Edge picked up on Gyrocopter. So he's just saying fuck it to survivability. He doesn't need HP. He just wants to deal damage. Which I don't blame him. I think given that this game it's appearing to go late. Both teams have kind of like settled back into a farming position. Arrangement, if you will. Formation, if this were the Air Force. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. It seems unlikely that either team is really gonna go for a push here. I think they're both feeling really nervous because of how the initiation on both teams is just so good. 2 blink daggers. And that ags on qojqva. I mean, qojqva has the ability to just remove someone on Navi from the fight, especially until Dendi gets his BKB up. Taking Puppey out is not the most valuable thing. Oh, kuroky. Is qojqva gonna try and go for the epicenter? Oh, huge ice path into dual breath onto 4. This is brutal. On top of the wall, on top of the call down. Disastrous fight for mousesports. They were not expecting that blink ice path from Puppey and funnik. Good lord, that was brutal. Like 4 for nothing. Now, qojqva, critical mistake there. What I would have done would be the second I saw kuroky and he starts running away, I would have backed up and started channeling your epicenter. Admittedly, mousesports did not have the vision to know where Navi was, but I think, I mean, mousesports are the aggressors there. They stumble on a potential target. They have to know that Navi's going to respond as soon as possible. And the positioning there was really sloppy. Even if it was, I guess it wasn't really sloppy, but it was. Everybody was just so grouped up around this corner. Like everybody was kind of coming around. Made for a oh no, qojqva. He can't go down here, and he is. 2 buybacks immediately from mousesports. There's no buyback available from qojqva. This is a huge problem for mousesports. Pause. He's going to be dropping low. Funnik, he does get picked off by the mana void from black. hvost, he doesn't have any kind of survivability or lifesteal here. He's got to be careful. Oh, all the trees get chopped down. They really want to take hvost down. Ice Path onto 2. This could be huge trouble for mousesports. Oh no, this is disastrous. 2 complete team wipes back to back for mousesports. Way over aggressive, jumping outside their base unnecessarily. qojqva, he gets caught out. There's no epicenter for that fight. For both of those fights, there was no epicenter, and they invested so much into qojqva. His death there was just absolutely unacceptable. He could not be in that location. He needs to function kind of like a Bat Rider or a Magnus, where he's sitting back in the base and waiting for the opportunity. They had to know that Navi was coming. They've just taken a huge team fight. They're gonna try and break the base, and indeed they do. Bottom racks are going down. Mid racks has gone down. Oh, there's the Blink Epicenter from qojqva, but is it too little, too late? We're gonna find out. hvost, he's just manning up on qojqva right now. Has no trouble taking him out. Dendi, he's popping all over the place. Kuroky finishes off Paz with that level death. Dendi, he takes out Synderen as well. It's another 4. 3 deaths. Nope, it's going to be 4 with Fata going down. Wow. In the space of... it could be more than 3 minutes. Wow. I don't know... It's somewhere between mousesports just... throwing completely, like, just full force out the window. And a combination of Navi just capitalizing on the exact opportunity. I mean, oh god, that vacuum ice path was brutal. I mean, that was on top of the dual breath, the macro pyre, the wall, the call down, the flat cannon, not to mention Dendi. There's no way they could eat all that damage. And I think they really had to be... If you're up against a Darkseer Jakiro, especially if Darkseer has a Blink Dagger, you can never be grouped up. You have to treat it like a Magnus or an Enigma, except it's actually more powerful than that. Mostly because of how low the cooldown is. They can execute that whenever and wherever they want, with very little risk and very low opportunity costs in particular. So the positioning there for mousesports didn't do them any favors. On the second fight, qojqva getting caught out really cost them a lot, especially without not having the epicenter. And trying to take the fight after qojqva died. I think maybe they felt that they didn't have an option, but they would have been better off just waiting. If they hadn't gone in and fought, then they would have only lost 1 Rax. But by going in and fighting and dying again, they lost 2 Rax. And by the time the third fight happened, they just couldn't pull it off. All the BKBs were off cooldown again. All the cooldowns were there for Navi, and they could handle the fight no problem. So that wraps up this best of 5, which turned into 3 games. Navi overall, the first 2 games, no room for mousesports whatsoever. Mousesports just did not draft well enough. The draft in Game 3, I think, is a lot better than their previous ones. Still hate the build on Crystal Bay. Whatever. But Navi overall, they look unbeatable. They're returning straight from China, tearing through all of the Chinese teams, and now they're having a nice nice fireside chat with the Western teams. reminding them that they're still number one. Well, that was a lot of fun. I need to keep casting more. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I'm Cranberry Thunderfunk, and this has been the Thunderfunking DotaCast. If you'd like to see more of my casts, please visit my YouTube channel at youtube.com/thunderfunking. I have a Twitter. I have a Facebook. I have all of those things that people do on the social networking things. I'll let you guess as to how you can find it. It's Cranberry Thunderfunk. And if it's not that, it's Thunderfunking. It's really easy. I'm good at SEO. Anyhow, thanks for watching. I will see you again in the near future.